Does it do? My one worry with the firm is I don't know if this is the case or not, but like, does it do? Like this D dog has scarred me. Does a firm do like a D dog where it's like you get this like epic gap up? You get this epic gap up, and then right, like for like fucking a month, you just keep trying to like break it out, and it doesn't do it. Maybe if it doesn't have to be like that. I think a firm probably has a little bit more liquidity than the D dog, but like I do wonder about that sometimes. Like how many days are we gonna stare at this thing before it breaks out? The fucking D dog. But we've been trying to break this thing out all these days until we just gave up on it. I can count like 100-day trades on D-Dog in the last month. So that's my only worry with this one. Skills. So skills ended up holding the previous day's low. I think you can roll with that. It was a nasty drop yesterday, so it's not a priority. Yeah, I think edit and TLA, those look good. Hey, morning, guys. I'm just finish up something. What's going on? Grind mode in the markets. Man, we could use a nice like 4 or 5 day pullback, to be honest, but it's just it won't come till nobody's expecting it. You can really see we've only been getting our biggest pullback has been like 3 days. I mean, it's been like a fucking grind, but man, a nice 3-4 day pullback would really get some things going. We had this kind of 2 day. It seems like 2 days is all we're really getting. Hey, Nadia, how are you? It's all we're really getting lately. We're in this weird part of the market where you're just going to be grinding higher. I mean, till it doesn't. Now, when you're grinding higher and you get like this kind of overbought levels, or like you just get so extended on these things, the couple things to be mindful of is that you will get these kind of end of day dips or midday dips, and they'll just kind of come out of nowhere. They last for, like 10, 15 minutes, and, the dreaded bear market is over for a period of time, and then you just kind of gap up and grind. We're in like a pure gap and grind mode where you're just going to be fucking farting around, twiddling your wieners for half the day. But that's what markets do at all-time highs. Everybody wants a hot market where, right, you're at all-time highs, but it does slow things down. Ideally, when you get a market like this, it's sector specific. What's the hot theme for the day, right? What's the hot sector for the day? In general, if you can play on themes that are happening in the market, right? They could be EV stocks, Bitcoin stocks, right? Vaccine stocks, whatever it is. But if you can kind of narrow things down into some type of theme, then when you have the gap and grind kind of action, things end up being a lot easier, right? Like yesterday, right? Like the China stocks, that was the theme of the day. So like, right when one starts to go berserko, then it's just throwing darts. It doesn't even really take that much trading skill. You're just throwing darts. What's the next one? What's the next one? What's the next one? And you're hitting the consolidations and you're going. But if you don't have that theme, then what ends up doing is you just end up right crusting your nuts all day. Like, oh my gosh, like my setup in a firm didn't go, or like, oh my God, I missed Philo. And you're sitting there like doing the oh my gods all day, like, oh my God, look at this one, but you're not in any of them. And the reason you're not in any of them is they're hard to pick out unless you got yourself some type of theme. So I do think today probably we'll get a second day on these Chinas, but we'll have to be careful because a lot of them are starting to approach resistance. All fucking like, right? Like they're already hitting resistance after like a couple days. This PDD had the most heat out of the group yesterday. Let's see if we go red to green on this bad boy. I think this one had the most heat. Number 2 is this future big trend. Let's see how it reacts around yesterday's highs. I think Baidu probably is running into resistance now, right? Like you're right at that 50 SMA, and that's going to be probably a little bit more. That's going to be a lot more tricky because you're like sitting there right? Just dicker and dealing right at that level. If they end up rolling over, then at least we'll have one that's sitting at resistance that we can short. This IQ's got a better location. You can see like you're still quite a bit of ways away from the 50 SMA. It's a little bit cheaper. It doesn't have as much sexy range on it. So you got to kind of load up more shares on this bad boy, but it's got a look to it. Let's see if this one, how it reacts around yesterday's highs too. If you start to push back through and hold, and then always the key is right, the first dip. If the first dip holds, then you're good, right? Then you're good. You want to be really kind of knee deep in some of these things. So I do like that. So we go IQ, we go future. We can go PDD. PDD had the most range yesterday. So that's a theme. Now let's take a look at some of the earnings plays or PR plays. Earnings season is essentially over for the most part. But let's see kind of what kind of PRs are juicing up. Let's see what kind of dirty stock some Discord jerk off is going to be pumping today. They're going to be pumping everything they can. IPHA, turn, OMQS. I don't know what kind of liquidity this is going to have on it. Frankly, this is a little bit more, that's more tricky because, okay, you got a breakout here and it's already got pretty good range. But like you don't have, it becomes a lot harder when you don't have the liquidity. Because what ends up happening is like if anybody's trading, I know some of you guys made some money, but like what ends up happening is I was grading one of our students' trades yesterday. And like he was trying to break this like FICUV, I don't know, Focus Universal, and he's trying to break this thing out, and boom, it dropped like 4 points in one candle. He had like a couple thousand shares, HE's down the drain. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be laughing. HE's down the drain and don't even look like much, right? That's the problem you have when you don't have the liquidity. When it's working for you, it's great because you're getting it. People are chasing it up. But then on the other side, like when it just goes the other way, you have to be really careful. So that might be something that you come back to. Let's see how it fires off at the open. If it's dusting like 5-10 million shares at the open, you'll probably have the liquidity you need. But like if you don't have that, then it's going to be, it's going to be a lot trickier to do. So like just kind of, I keep mind of those things. Not really a priority. CHPT charge point, battery holdings. This is like Blink, but like probably an actual company. Bum, bum, bum. Charge point, fiscal loss shrinks as sales climbs. It'd be nice if like one of these freaking battery companies started to light fire, because then some of the other ones would pick up. It's a little bit tricky because it's right under the 50 SMA. This has actually historically been like a decent mover, but like you're right under the level. Like I think if we took a stab at this, we need this thing to hit over 25. And if it goes, then I think we're cooking and booking on this thing, and we'll see like how much action we get. There's probably a little bit of a pent-up demand in some of these, like everybody wants to play these again. The chart is not epic, so I would give this out of a gapper. If you're talking about a stock that has like some type of PR out, I'd give this a B-. So like I wouldn't put too much association with it, but it's got a good look. Power, Quanta Services. This is like a grade A breakout, but I don't know if this is going to have the liquidity we need. When you're looking at earnings plays, right, this is the type of breakout you want. Like this thing might end up, if it pulls a little bit at the open, this thing may end up trending like 10, 15 points on a bounce, but the liquidity could be just awful on this. These days it's just doing like 700, only 50,000 pre-market. That's probably something I just come back to too. I'd let it show up on an intraday scanner. Asan. This is going to have shitty liquidity too, good, most likely. But this is an IPO stock breaking out to all-time highs. Man, you got sick location on this. I'm adding that. If the spread isn't too wild, I mean, we could be cooking and booking on this motherfucker. It's going to have to pull. Let's add that. I think we add that due to location. Stocks that are IPOs that break out to all-time highs, they tend to have, if not this day, over the coming days, they tend to have a nice post-earnings drift. That's a beauty. GSM, at this point, this is too extended. Hey, this Sparty is probably due for a bounce. It would have been nice if it didn't fucking gap up, $3. Probably due for a dead cat bounce for a few dollars. I got it on the list. I would have preferred a much flatter open. It's really hard to chase these things up like 10, 15%. Because the trend on this is done, right? Like when you see like a tail like this, that's an FU tail. That's right. That's the middle fingers, 2-gun salute right there. When you get the 2-gun salute, you're not really you're not coming back from that, right? Like once you get a 2-gun salute going, you're not coming back from them. There's a scar tissue over here. There's hopes and dreams dashed. There's loves lost. There's wives leaving their husbands, all in this right here. You don't want to be a part of that, right? Imagine you even get back up there. I mean, there's going to be somebody that's like, wow, I may be able to get my family back after I toss my life savings into Spartan. We'll play for a dead cat bounce. I'm not too keen on the location now. We play for a dead cat bounce if we get it. Supernova Partners, Acquisition Corporation. Yeah, junk. Ooh, Siggy Bear. Man, you guys remember when we used to try this thing like a few bucks? Siggy Bear is nice. So you got to break out here. This is the right sector. This sector has actually been really strong this year. This is a specialty retail luxury goods. How everybody's got so much money to buy luxury goods is beyond me, but they are buying, right? You see that shit like the pet rocks? Anybody trading those NFTs? I've been slaughtering on the fucking the baseball cards and the basketball cards, crossing, but people got so much fucking money, they're spending money on pet rocks. Do you ever follow those ether rock scans? And some of those rocks are going for like $1 million, 1.3 milli for the fucking rocks. The JPEG file of a rock, it's like a nice gray, beautiful rock. If you actually turned it into like on an angle, it would look like a nice gray turd, which if you had a nice gray turd, right, that would be something. You'd be like, wow, like this person has some type of weird, digestional issue, which is causing him to have, right, gray poop, that could be something valuable because it seems like it would be rare. But no, instead, it's just a gray rock. And this rock I just sold the other day for like 1.3 million. So now the question is, who in the world has 1.3 million to roll around with a gray rock that's not a turd? It's got to be a Saudi, right? Like they seem to be the ones into all the dirty stuff. Like, ooh, this may be a turd. This Siggy Bear, now I digress. The Siggy Bear, 50 million share float, 4 billion market cap. So it's in the sweet spot. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I think we add this to the list. This has got a good look to it. I think we add it to the list. It's got a good look to it. Plus, you know what? The Siggy Bear owes us. Yeah, we had this thing for a while. Siggy Bear owes us. I don't know what kind of liquidity is going to be in this bad boy, but I think if it starts to set up at some point, we'll take a gander. Not a huge priority because I don't know what kind of liquidity is in it. But we get in it. We'll do what we got to do, which is the do. Speaking of, so let's add that. I like it. INCR junk, DQ junk, BTBT junk, hot junk, NTNX. That's a good looking chart right there, but it's not a good day trader. NTNX, good chart, not a good day trader. It doesn't have the ATR you need, the liquidity you need. This is a swing trading stock. Like you can see, like it moves, but it's like a little bit of a grinder, which for some of you guys, right, that's a good thing, but not for everybody. SQG, SQPG, man, Tommy, why are you doing this? I understand, but you also said that you wanted to buy a Hyundai Jeep the other day. I can't trust anything you say. A Hyundai. Like, what if your girlfriend leaves you? And then you're just stuck with all those muscles, a case of HGH, and a Hyundai. Nicola. You guys want to see some shirtless photos of wake and take? I got a bunch saved on my phone. This Nicola looks okay. Not my cup of tea. HR sheet. Yeah, jump. Man, I think this can is getting set to break out, but this is like another one that's like a heartbreaker. If you could show me one fucking person that's made some money, day trading can, Tommy will give up his HGH for you. Oh, man, it's there. You know, you had a light day yesterday, but see the gaps, like they kind of mess it up on it. I think it's going to be a little bit tricky. SNDL, I'll tell you what, if your watch list consists of Wish, SNDL, then your life is in shambles. Hey guys, check out Wish, check out SNDL. That's usually the sign of I have never made a single dollar in my life. Any chunk. All right, cool. Now let's get into the regular watch list. So out of the gappers, we got Asan, CHPT, SPRT, Siggy Bear. And then on the downside, there's Chewy. On the downside, we need some shorts. We got Chewy. Man, American Eagles. You guys remember when they used to make the jeans with the pockets on the side? Those were incredible. And the American Eagle overalls. Woo! That's a nice rollover too. Retail stocks sink to trade. AI. Who was the asshole that said AI was looking like a heater? Oh, they had earnings today. Man, okay. AI, we can add that to the short list too. So we got AI, Chewy. Now, gap down shorts haven't been that hot lately. You know, due to the way the market is, like gap down shorts have not been that hot. This BBIG is another one. I think this one's probably dusted for now. You could feel the fucking sellers coming in. They'll probably raise some money at some point, or they got an ATM going. I'm not sure. I haven't looked yet, but it felt like that. Yeah, once it gets to the bottom of the range, I would roll with that. Pet the cat, chunk. Okay, so that's it for the gappers. Now let's go into just our regular watch list. I think we got Roku finally looking like it could be a man of honor. I think this is 6 window worthy. The key on this is going to be really hey, Ms. Vic, how are you? I think the key on this is going to be 375-ish. I mean, we got to kind of cook and book over that level. If we get it, then it's going to shred. NVAX, for the umpteenth time, is testing this big resistance on its daily. Will it get there? We don't know, but it's getting close, right? We're right at a really nice, sweet spot. I think that this one's got a good chance. Then we got the Chinese stocks. We want to add some of these Chinas, right? So we got PDD, Future, and I think IQ's got the most room to run, along with Los Tigres, Los Tigres is sitting here. I mean, you get about $4 a room. If once it clears this level, I think that should be fine. Now, we don't know if these Chinese stocks are in a big downtrend still. Like, we don't necessarily know, like, right, if they're going to hold or not. So, like, you want to really take it with a grain of salt, but usually you should get a second day off of it. I am knee deep in every kind of coin imaginable right now, but Vet, still Sol, a big grab of Ethereum. I got BNB. These are the hot ones, I think. You guys should be trading this stuff. I've been trying to get my ass into the Dot Nation, but that one's not been pulling back for me. But I think, I think we're getting into a run in the cryptos. We've been running for really a few weeks. I think we're getting into that spot in the cryptos where we're going to start to speed up. And so I'm selling on all rips, but you still got to be adding. Fuck, I really fucked it up. I oversized on this waves and this thing is flying without me. Good. Yeah, Los Tigres. Hello, my friends. I'm playing the Los Tigres. I think those will look good. Now, on the swing side, there's some decent looking stocks. Edit, NTLA, both got some locations on them. I think that either one of those could be, either one of those could be sponge worthy. Good. That's the list. I'm sticking to it. Beaky's a turd, Mr. Beaky. Do you love me? Do you hold me? Beaky's got a rebounding pattern. It is a turd, but it does have a rebounding pattern, if that makes sense. It's a sloot, but not. Good. All right. That's the list. I'm sticking to it. The market's heating up, guys. Couple things I did notice. Remember at the open, sometimes you got to take a couple shots before the trend set. Make sure you're not oversizing the open. The hotter trends have been coming later. So you guys are blowing, a lot of times you blow your mental capital and you're like, oh my God, I lost $100 here, lost $100 here. Then you're farting around, licking your chop, going to your day job, and then everything starts to shred and you're like, oh man, I was in that. But it's like, no, you weren't. You were in that 3 hours ago. You're not in that. But now you got to be in that. So at the open, you take some shots, but the trends are setting up a little bit later. This is the list. I'm sticking to it. Let's go have some fun. Oh, yeah. Hot damn. As they say in France, 2 beers in a bucket. Fuck it. Let's do this.